Tabletop Stimulator. All right, so we should do an introduction.
Yeah.
This is Shawn.
And I'm Jim.
Brilliant. No Dan today, unfortunately. He got VD.
Yes, he's got the vid.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know if he's still got it, but he said that if he didn't have it, he had to go into work to get told off for getting the vid. Something like that.
Well, he did it to himself. He went to a work thing and he licked people.
Yeah, the ones that were in the corner shivering.
Yeah. And he
was like, sweat.
And it gave him vid.
Yeah. So there you go. If you want to catch it, you know how now.
Yeah.
If you don't want to catch it, don't do those things.
Yeah. They didn't really think on the health advice to tell people not to lick people with COVID.
Yeah.
They just thought, it's a given, right?
Well, surely the masks would stop it, but no one's wearing masks.
No, they've stopped wearing masks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the equivalent of the reason why you have to have that hot drink on coffee cups.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, like this one says, do not microwave.
Oh.
So it's the same with Dan. I wouldn't microwave him.
Now I'm feeling about opening a coffee shop which the cups also have just general advice on them.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. And you can have like a selection.
Yeah.
So you'd have a Monday mug that would be like, don't worry, you'll get through the week. Here's some advice on ways to keep yourself mentally stable. You know.
I want 3 coffees, and can the latte be in the don't lick people? It's for a co-worker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, the other
that'd be
thing you
great.
could do with them is have like different textures.
Oh yeah.
Because for people with people who like touching stuff, for the sensation. I'm going to leave that there.
Don't just touch people. It's for a co-worker.
Yeah. Or can you get the? No. I'm going to say it. Yeah. Yeah. Some of them you wouldn't be able to sell. Would you?
Yeah, definitely. It's just got lots of just asterisks.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. Don't be a asterisk or an obelix. Yeah.
Don't be. Yeah. Any punctuation or shape.
Yeah, or French or Gaulish cartoon character.
Oh, I thought I'm just going to cut it at French. Oh, don't be French.
No, that'd be harsh. Some people are born that way. I guess you could move out, but
Yeah, but you just can't get rid of it.
no.
Okay, so just 2 of us. Last podcast of the year.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it is the 15th of December.
Yeah. So it might be very close to the end of the year by the time this goes out. I should
Yeah.
Because we're both firstly, I don't do anything to help with editing.
Presents.
Secondly, Sean's got like a life and family and stuff, so he's going to be busy.
By the time this comes out, I would have already done my Christmas single. I'm hoping it goes to
I'm
number
really
1.
looking forward to it. It's going to be number 1 for me.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll play it in the shop.
I missed a trick. I should have been promoting last year's one as well. I should have been taking a chance for Paladinites coming to town.
That's a good idea. Is it on any of the?
It's only on
music apps?
YouTube.
It's only
not
on
the
YouTube.
apps. Yeah, but maybe I should re-upload it.
Yeah, because then if I can add it to like Apple Music, I can add it to my playlist for the shop.
Yeah.
We were talking off air a while ago about how we can not push the channel more, push the show more, but encourage a bit more with it. So we were looking at like whether we have an Instagram account or a Facebook one and stuff like that. But I just thought we should get like proper logos sorted out and do some merch.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously all of our listeners would definitely spend ridiculous amounts of money on merch. But we could use that to improve the equipment for the show. Like you were talking about headsets like earlier, and I think merch might be the way to do it actually.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a really good idea.
What do you think?
Yeah, I would like to expand on some of the equipment we have because at the moment it's only 1 headset and 3 mics, and I think that probably impacts the quality.
I think we need some diversity as well. Like it's great having mics around, but there's other people out there.
If only we could record on Dan's.
Oh no,
we can't move for Dan's.
No.
Okay, well that'd be I think that's something
That's
we
the next
can
year.
brainstorm.
Yeah.
About what we could do going forward.
A few months' time, we'll hopefully get somewhere with something.
Maybe when Dan's recovered from VD.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that he might get back to playing basketball again.
Oh, got to watch out. All right, then. So what we were going to talk about a few things and keep it relatively on topic to make it quicker to get the
Editing done.
Editing done, yeah, and get the
It
podcast
should
out.
actually be easier to keep on topic without 3 people.
Just 2 of us.
Yeah.
So let's talk about highlights of the year, and then we'll go on to what's next year. What's
Okay.
happening?
From the bunker's point of view, or
Well, from you in hobbying terms, anything like any new games that you really enjoyed, even if you've not had a chance to play them more, or
I guess something that we talk about all the time on this show, but the big thing that happened this year really was 10th edition for 40k. The highlight for me was the fact that I finished painting 1,000 points of Space Marines for the end of 9th edition.
wow,
Which was, obviously I've made a big thing about it. That was me, the first time I'd finished that many points of my own stuff in years. I tend to never get very far with a project before I either start a new one or get distracted with other stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really good for me. And it's really, really good now that is like, I think less than 900 points worth. So basically, I mean, apart from maybe intercessors for the Space Marines, the rest of it's all pretty much junk.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3 eradicators in there, which were okay. Oh, there's a dreadnought. Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Like
Sounds
about
right.
half of it is useful.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, 10th edition has been pretty popular. It's calmed down a little bit. So, like the first couple of boot camps were absolutely heaving, but now it's kind of settled. And we've obviously got codexes out now, which is all good. What other Games Workshop stuff's happened? Obviously, we've got the new Legions Imperialis, which has been massively popular with the locals. And as of now, no one's actually played it yet. I think they're too busy painting thousands of models.
Well, it doesn't really lend itself for something because of the scale where you can just be like, I'll glue them to the base and play it grey.
No, the vehicles you can maybe build and go without them painted, but the infantry you kind of need to paint. It's easier to paint them on a sprue, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I've started doing with mine.
I've got the starter set fully painted now, apart from the Titans, but I don't think you can use the Titans in. They did basically. Games Workshop did on Warhammer Community a mini formation or detachment or whatever they're called, which was like a combination of stuff at the starter box. And the idea was you pop open a starter box and you use mixtures of Imperial and Solar against each other. So it's a very small scale game with no Titans or anything.
Okay.
So I've painted all of that. I could do that, but I haven't. I do think we were talking about playing some on Monday, which is coming up. But by the time people listen to this, they'll have missed the opportunity. So that's what you get for not paying attention and listening to the podcast before it's released.
Why weren't you here? Why weren't you here as a live studio audience?
There's like 4 people outside with glasses to the window listening, so they can hear what we're saying.
It's double glazed though.
Yeah, so don't tell them that.
Oh, sorry.
They're waiting. They don't think we started yet.
Why don't we get some entrepreneur at the bunker could open like a little food stand outside for when people want to listen in.
Yeah, cool. And then the food agency could come and shut them down.
Yeah. Well, they'll have it on a cart, and anytime they see someone coming along, they could just run away, pushing the cart.
Just chuck a blanket over it.
Yeah.
Do what they do in like all the big cities, where it's like, it suddenly becomes an umbrella sales stall, or if it's sunny, it's sunglasses. You know?
Or they do all of their food and beverages just out of a suitcase.
Or like the police turn up and suddenly they're a donut and coffee stand. Sorry, that's harsh. So what else happened this year? So we've had some big games go on.
Yeah.
Was it April? Don had his big rapid fire game, which was part of the Market Garden campaign. And that was like a really weird, funky shaped table. So they had that going for a few days over the Easter weekend. I think they're doing something else next Easter. So that's quite cool if you like your World War II, or even if you're not particularly interested in playing it, just to see what's going on. We had the Bunker Birthday Bash, which was we had a good turnout from the regulars to help do stuff. I think the people that came along all had fun. What else has happened this year? Loads, probably. But what stands out? Just recording this with you, Sean.
Oh, it's been a joy. Yeah, we started a couple of months into the year.
Yeah, it was like February, March time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So we've knocked out a few episodes.
I think we've done all right, actually.
Reasonably consistent, given we have no dedicated resource for it.
Yeah. So I guess from my point of view, I've been quite lucky in that Sam has been around a fair bit this year and has been able to cover the shop for a day here and a day there, so I can go off and do stuff for myself, which is really nice, which is good for re-energizing. Yeah. What about you? What's been your highlights of the year? Possibly not the Necromunda campaign.
Ouch. No, the Necromunda campaign. Yeah, I mean, it didn't go the way I wanted it to go because people were sort of in and out of it, and so we only had a few of the people actually play all of the scenarios. But I took away from it quite a good learning experience of running a campaign on my own, and what works and what doesn't work.
I mean, I think everyone enjoyed the missions.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that it wasn't fun to play.
But they had so many commitments to other things. I don't think I was really strict enough. It was like, if
more aggressive.
Yeah, if I'm just going to say, when you get around to it, then it becomes the lowest priority of doing that.
Yeah, you need to put deadlines down, otherwise, they won't make time for it.
Which is what I was competing against, was people that would put strict deadlines. Yeah, and so people were playing those. So I would change that in the future. Like one of the big comments online was like, obviously people that aren't part of the bunker, but they would say, this sounds really restrictive, the way you're doing it, whereas it's a game, has a lot of freedom in there to do what you want. And it's like, yes, it does, but unfortunately, it can also make it not so fun for people that aren't that familiar with what's good and
abused, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Any rule set, because Necromunda, I don't see Necromunda as a rule set for playing a match play game.
No,
it
not
is
at all.
a toolbox for creating the campaign you want to play in.
Yeah.
Because there's so much overpowered crap in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's like no effort to balance things. So we talked about the Palanites and the Corpse Grinders before, but the way that their points work out doesn't relate to everyone else.
No, you can very much see that they were in a box set that came out, which was a great box set, but not a great deal of thought into them
work
since.
With each other, but they don't play fun with anyone else.
And now you've got they're bringing out the Palanite vehicle. So yeah, actually, I suppose one of the disappointments this year was I thought that Games Workshop were going to be putting some effort into streamlining the rule set, and it turns out not overly.
There is a new book coming out at the start of January, which is a kind of a mix-up of current stuff and new bits. So it'll be interesting to see if that reworks anything, but I've got a feeling it won't.
No, there's still like older books you've got to get. So they brought out the new rule book. It had a whole set of rules. It had the vehicle rules in it. Great. It had the marketplace stuff, the trading hub, for buying stuff. Brilliant. It had nothing about any of the games in there. Nothing about how to customize the vehicles. None of that stuff. So already, if you wanted to have vehicles and you wanted to have them in a campaign, you had to buy a second book. And then you also had to buy, if you wanted to do a specific faction, you had to buy a book for that faction as well. And that's assuming you were just going to do the campaigns that were in the rule book, not any of their other campaigns, which are in other rule books. And if you wanted to use the faction-specific vehicles, the rules for them were in a different book. If you wanted to run,
having more books than models.
Yeah, if you wanted to have, a vehicle campaign with Escher using their equipment, and you wanted to be able to customize the vehicles as you progress in the campaign, it would require 4 books.
It's almost like it's designed. They've trying to phrase it in the right way. Basically, they've brought out a game which will play really well in someone's house. Like all the books are in that person's house on the shelf. You can grab them when you need them. Yeah. In a club environment, or a place where you have to take your stuff to it, actually, it's a nightmare because you're taking your dozen models along to a skirmish game, which should take a couple of hours to play, but you're having to take on half a ton of books. And then figure out which book's which, and then your mate's like, "Oh, I brought that as well. I wouldn't have bothered if I'd have known you were bringing that book." And or it turns out that nobody's got the book they need because they didn't know they were supposed to bring it, and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously, I would say buy the books you need. But if there was just one thing that you needed from a book, like I just need the rules for the Palanite Autobot or whatever, then
just photocopy.
Just look online.
Yeah.
Because people will have the rules for that unit online. Because it's not, I don't think it's, personally, I would say don't spend 30 quid on a whole book for one page. Get the rules online, buy more models.
Yeah. Well, they're a miniatures company. They keep telling everyone that. I mean, I think I've definitely have said it in the previous episodes, but this should all be in an app.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% should be in an app, and you should be able to go, this is the list I've built, these are the special rules I've got. You should be able to press that special rule and it'll jump to the rule for you. It's like,
I think that's the way to go, because it's, it seems absurd to me that it's a game, and I get it's a niche game, but the most you need is two boxes of models.
But isn't this just like all the other stuff that fails that Games Workshop do? I mean, Necromunda's been going for quite a long time, so I don't think it's quite in the same cycle. But you look at Titanicus, you look at Aeronautica, and you look at other game systems which kind of come and go that they do, and they've got their 3 to 5 year plan for it. So they don't really support it very well. And what happens is people drop off and then get interested in other stuff. And I know it's part of their sales strategy, potentially, but like, how many people don't play Necromunda because they just like, well, I don't know what to buy.
Yeah, I don't know what books to get. And yeah, there's plenty of people that I meet while playing, and that's the obstacle.
And they'll be like, how does this rule work? And you'll be like, oh, well, it's in this rule book. Oh, no, it's not. It's in this book. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And you're there like constantly flicking through books trying to find it. And there's like, well, there's actually 4 different rule books. So it depends on which rule book you read as to how that rule works. And it's like, which one was published last? Oh, I can't remember, you know. And then they'll bring out a new starter set that's set in, I don't know, Bumhole World or something, whatever they want to call it.
Hive Bum World.
Hive Bumworms. And it will have like different rules.
That's the setting for the next campaign.
It'll have different rules for cover than everywhere else. And you'll be like, oh.
Watch out for your melee bumworm attack.
Yeah. The creature in the deep. Yeah.
But yes, so the campaign anyway was I took stuff away from it. I enjoyed it with, you know, especially the people that kept coming back. Which was great.
A few very dedicated players.
Yes,
and
it was
I think
fun.
the other players, like I said, the other players definitely seemed to enjoy it, but they just didn't dedicate.
And it managed to introduce a couple of new people to Necromunda.
Yeah.
So we brought some new people in, and then also the birthday weekend that helped introduce some people as well. You've mentioned on here on a previous episode, I believe, about the Paragon, the online sort of encouraging the social media and game.
Did I talk about that on the podcast? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully it didn't end up on the cutting room floor.
For people who don't know what that is, it's essentially a way of me rewarding members who, so you don't have to have a membership with the bunker, but rewarding you for doing stuff in store, encouraging play, running demo games, as well as sharing loads of stuff online, and posting online as well as sharing. So making your own posts or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But I still haven't sat down properly and spent a few hours plotting out how it's going to work because it's going to be like a point system. So
yeah, I'll probably embrace that for Necromunda as well next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so the opposite of our highlight of the year. What's been the worst thing to do with, obviously not whole life, but within the hobby and environment, the worst thing
for me for the bunker.
Yeah, well, just it could be like something that Games Workshop have done or another company has done, and it's just like, this is the worst thing. It's shit. It would be on my top 5 shit list.
So I would say the first 6 months of the year with Games Workshop was pretty poor. Anyone who's a regular listener will know how annoyed and frustrated I was with them. But actually, since 10th edition dropped, they've been progressively improving. They've still got a really outdated order system that is just pathetic, but their limits on product are much higher. Whereas like when the World Eaters Codex came out at the start of the year, I think I was capped at like 5 copies or something like that, or maybe even less. It might have been 4. Whereas the new codexes that are coming out, I can have like 30. Or more than 30 with like Space Marines, I think was even more. It just opens up some freedom so that from a sales point of view, I can be more reliable for my customers.
Yeah.
My stock levels are starting to improve, but it's actually really difficult to improve. There's a lot more availability with them now, but obviously because I've missed out on so much sales throughout the year, I don't have tens of thousands of pounds to chuck back into product all in one go.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a slow grow. But yeah, things are looking pretty positive. Anyway, we're talking about what's bad. Yeah, so GW supplies were bad. Their communications are still really awful. Yeah, I've had issues with other companies with shipping and stuff like that. Some stuff with customs. I guess from a gaming point of view, though, what negative stuff has happened? Blood Bowl's kind of just stopped. Which is why we'll be doing something new with that next year. So we'll talk about that a bit later. What else has happened that's bad? I mean, bad isn't really a fair thing, and the Blood Bowl stopping is not anyone's. It's just part of life. People have other stuff to do.
Okay, right. So how about out of all of the releases this year, which one was disappointing? Like, not just about stock, but you were just like, oh, is that it? Or that's not that great? Or any particular model that was like, that's a bit shit? So, like, Lionel Johnson came out, good model, right?
Yeah.
Very fun. I was very disappointed that the Fulgrim was resin.
Oh, yeah. It looks lovely, but I'm not buying any more resin.
Yeah.
Games Workshop looks like they are moving away from resin. Forge World, from an online perspective, doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure that it's still a named company on their books currently, but it might eventually disappear. And they've replaced... here's the big disappointment of the year, their new website. Although it is actually a little bit easier to use now than it was.
Yeah.
But it's atrocious.
I hope that they finally fixed that Warhammer Community actually takes you to a page and doesn't just 404.
I haven't looked at their website for like 2 weeks. I used it this week, and because I literally went and looked for the specific items that I wanted, I was able to add them to the cart. But every time I wanted to add a new product, I had to go back to the start. You can't just go back to the previous page or have a continue shopping button or anything like that. And actually, I find it really difficult to look at product. They've got this really weird system. Their website's crap. It's not designed for people to be able to buy product on. Like, whoever did that, I mean, just go stick your head in a bloody blender or something.
Connect them with your IT guy.
Do not need that brain because it's unproductive. I'm sorry. Absolute pile of junk.
Yeah.
Absolute pile of junk. And the only good thing about it is it looks pretty. That's it. It's like they put the new guy on it. Yeah, we've employed you, but actually, we don't know what you're going to do, so just make us a new website.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's gone on WordPress or whatever. What's it, My Shopify or whatever it's called.
Just straight through one of the custom templates. The templates just customize with your own images.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's smooth, and it, like when you go from product to product, it like slides instead of it just being like a single movement. It's like you can feel there's
a nice transition.
Control the transition with your thumb or whatever. But I think it is a waste of money. There was nothing wrong with what they had. They could have easily put Forge World onto their website without doing all of that. And they could have spent the money that they've wasted on that website to copy paste their website into a trade one so that I could order online instead of having to use an Excel spreadsheet like it's 1993.
I'm surprised you haven't got to use a fax machine.
Yeah, so that's bad. No, I think it's hard to say that something really bad has happened. There's been some negative stuff. Like the negative stuff is down to disappointment with releases and things. There's no models that I would say have come out that I've looked at and gone, what the hell is that?
Okay, I've got one thing, which is, the model was great. The new Knight came out, the Lancer.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely. Bought it straight away, built it, really nice.
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
And then, like, 2 weeks later, they released new rules. Not about the box thing, that's fine, I get it.
All too close together.
They brought it out, and then the next data slate, they nerfed it.
Oh, yeah.
So
they nerfed all Knights, didn't they?
Yeah, but they nerfed it, and it's like it's the one thing it does, and now it's not very good at it.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, so now I'm not playing at night.
Actually,
I haven't played any Knights.
Actually, yeah, my big disappointment of the year is the way that they're handling the balancing in 10th. So I was really disappointed that they changed the core rules of Devastating. So Devastating Wounds is a special ability in the core rules, and they've changed the way it functions because a couple of armies could abuse it.
Yeah, rather than change how those armies could abuse it.
Work. Yeah.
Yeah, which has actually had massive impacts on a lot of other forces.
It's changed so much in the game, and change happens. That's great, but like for me, it's like, well, I didn't have many ways of doing that, of doing Devastating Wounds. So now the units that do them are less effective, and it's like, well, okay, I understand that they're trying to balance the meta, but it's just stupid. Like, fix the broken armies that haven't had a codex. They've not. This is Index Hammer, right? So none of those things matter because they haven't been published.
Yeah.
Okay, you might have printed the books already, but that's whatever. Then I can't see Eldari books were printed at the drop of 10th edition.
Yeah.
Because they're not even on the roadmap, as far as I remember. I don't think they are. So if they're not on the roadmap, they probably haven't printed the books yet. So just bloody change it.
Yeah. I feel.
Just say that if the Eldar dice mechanic counted as a modified dice roll, then none of their weapons would trigger special abilities by using their dice. Okay, and you could do that with other armies that use dice as well, because I think Sisters of Battle might do.
Yeah,
so you can make it so that all of those dice count as modified instead of unmodified. And then I guess the other issue was Custodes, wasn't it?
Oh, they got screwed.
They could stop the mortal wounds.
No, they can't.
But maybe you could just change it so it was like not a 4-up, it's a 5-up or something like that. I don't know.
Make it a feel no pain.
Yeah.
Just something. Because they also, I think, like Knights, Custodes, a couple of other factions, they were like, okay, these are too powerful in certain ways. We're going to adjust that. But then it compiled with other rule changes they made. And now all of a sudden they're being hit by a lot of things. So Knights got hit by a load of things about free stratagems.
I wonder whether it's got a marketing aspect to it as well, though. Like with Knights, you're not going to buy that many, and there's not many unit options. So you're going to pick whichever ones suit you. And the big Knights are quite easy to magnetize. Probably the little Knights are quite easy to magnetize. Whereas with other armies that have unit options, if you suddenly go that unit's no good, but this other unit is good, you've got to buy more stuff.
That's true.
So, and with Custodes, you don't have a lot of options for units. So those kind of armies getting hammered could have been planned from the start.
Yeah, like we want people to play different armies.
We want you to buy more product.
We're going to get out. This is our little
these two armies
tinfoil hat section of the podcast.
Popular. They weren't as popular before, so now they're really popular. Everyone's bought loads of it. Like Eldari were strong, but not that strong previously, I'd say. Or strong, but not that popular is probably the better way of putting it. And I wonder how much product they sold.
Tons. As soon as they released the previews, people started buying up Eldari.
Yeah.
Which was the opposite of me. I then sold my Eldari.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So negative. Yeah, I'd say that's negative. I want them to just put the rule back to how it was. I don't like them messing around with core rules. It's like those are your core rules. You need to make everything else fit that. Because that's the core mechanics of your game. If you start changing the core mechanics of the game, it's a new edition. You can't do that within the first 6 months of an edition coming out, unless something is so drastically wrong.
I mean, it's not game breaking, but I was really disappointed with the devastating wounds things because there were certain weapons that some armies had, and they didn't have a lot of armies didn't have a lot of devastating wound weapons.
No.
But it was like, okay, if I rolled a 6 to wound on this gun becomes really good.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't. So like the like the railguns, the armies with railguns. It's still a strong
mechanic, but it's nowhere near as strong as it was.
Yeah.
And like the other thing, there is actually something in the core rules which I don't like, and that's psychic. I just don't see the point.
Oh, it's just a weapon now.
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like you've got a librarian there, and basically he doesn't really do anything.
He gets an extra.
He's got a psychic attack. Oh, does that count as mortal wounds? No. Oh, cool. So when I target the unit that's got a special save against psychic attacks, they get a benefit, and I don't.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the point?
Yeah, psychic just became all mind bullets, and that's it.
Yeah, but they don't do anything special.
No, just they literally just mind bullets.
Other
that's
people
it.
Rules.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you anything special.
Whereas you know, in ninth, obviously I was playing Tyranids, they had so many interesting psychic abilities that would these buff up this unit, this lets this unit do this. And you have to think about what powers am I going to take. And now it's just like, I also get to do my mind lightning.
I get that they're trying to streamline it, but I mean, psychic characters should have an ability that actually bloody does something. You know, it's like I think librarians give you a save against psychic wounds or something, against psychic attacks if you join it to a unit. But it's like, well, how many bloody psychic attacks are there?
Yeah.
And like, if I don't bother taking those characters because they don't do anything that benefits me, well, it's not going to benefit you having that character in a unit, is it?
Yeah, they've really cut it down. I mean, I guess it's become really like, this is a really good ability against one or two factions, and if I'm not playing them, then it doesn't really.
So you're not going to buy it, are you?
Yeah. So yeah.
What else is? Yeah. No, I don't think there's really much negative. I mean, like even that is just like. That's not a negativity from an overall gaming perspective. It's just like it's disappointment that they've done something that they could have handled it better.
Yeah.
What else has come? I was trying to think other good stuff. Obviously, we've had like Shatterpoint come out this year, and although there's not a huge number of people playing it, it's pretty popular. The models are lovely, and the game system's actually really good as well. You've had a fun year, haven't you? You went to the Games Expo.
I did, yes. I'm trying to arrange for more patrons to join me next year.
Yeah.
I hope to interview more people. I'm going to try and reach out to some other names in between now and then to interview online feature on the podcast. I don't know if anyone will engage because I'm not willing to give them anything to talk to them, but we'll see how it goes. I'll give them a like on an Instagram post or something.
When you say names, do you mean like other?
Yeah, other people that are from like within our hobby, like YouTube channels and stuff like that. If I can get like some of those people to talk to about stardom just within a certain community, I guess, or even people, maybe some other people that have like released like tabletop games or that kind of thing, or just I'll see what I can find out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I intend to do that again. Where else? Obviously, we did campaign stuff. Got to my first time experiencing an edition change in 40k.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think about it that way. I mean, I think I've been playing since 2nd edition.
Okay.
And I've skipped a couple. What did I not play? I didn't play much of 6th or 7th. But
So-
yeah, it can be quite a. Like for me, I don't think anything of it. I'm just like, cool, let's play the new one. But some people get really
like,
caught up.
I've
in it,
only
don't they?
known this one set of rules. Now the rules have
It
changed.
changed everything. And actually, 10th edition was a big change.
Yeah.
That book, my Votan book that I've only had for 6 months, is now irrelevant.
It was irrelevant before I got it.
Oh no, the law's still okay. Oh, cheers, mate.
Yeah. Thanks. So yeah, so the edition change up was good. I obviously have got more involved, met some new people, started playing some other games, introduced some people to the games I like. Played some tournaments, which has been fun.
Oh, yeah, congratulations for winning the doubles tournament.
Thanks. I was
And
there
carried
just
Ben.
supporting. Yeah, come on, Ben. Just get on with it, will ya?
Yeah.
Stop messing about with all those Necrons. You've got so many models to move.
Yeah. Yeah.
So luckily, I played the secondary. I had to get tabled. That was my
In the
secondary.
last game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was impressive.
yeah.
It was really hard. I know you tried really hard to lose all your models. And you still had to score more primary as well.
Oh well, that's right. That was Ben's job.
Yeah,
Ben had
cool.
one job.
Yeah.
Score primary. So yeah, that was fun. And actually, I won talk 2 this year. I did the other team one as well on that one.
Oh, you won that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, the one more.
So what you're saying is when you play as part of a group, you create perfection.
Well, I need supporting characters. That's the thing. Is
I think that's probably just World Eaters all over, isn't it?
So some good tournaments. I've played some board games recently. I was going to discuss. I played one called Fire Tower, where you are in a tower in a forest against up to 3 other people, and there's a fire in the forest, and you're trying to sort of blow it towards the other towers. And so it's a game where you get a small hand of cards.
Yeah.
And they either let you spread more fire, change the direction of the wind, because there's a wind mechanic, which is how the fire spreads, or like some other things, like maybe like destroy some trees in an area so the fire can't go to that square.
Okay. So this sounds like something that, green lovers would hate.
Yeah.
Firstly, the game's made out of cardboard and paper,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
And wood
Yeah.
and
So
some
you've
plastic.
destroyed a lot of trees to make it.
Yeah. But those trees weren't doing anything. They were just standing around.
Yeah. And can you put the fire out?
Yes, you can. And it was quite fun. We ended up with a nice big forest of fire.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I won, which was
Of
luck.
course you did. Yeah.
So that was a really good game. And then the other game we played was Tokyo Highway, which was a game where you have to set up little columns and sticks. It's like a bit of dexterity.
Okay.
And
Okay, so it's a physical
game, yeah.
manipulation game.
So you get like a lollipop stick and some little round column pieces, and the rule and what you have to do is everyone gets like a starting ramp, and you have a little car, and you have like 5 little wooden car pieces each, and and the objective is to get rid of all your car pieces. And the way you do that is if you build a road that goes over or under someone else's road and no one's done that, then you get to claim a point and put a car down. So you end up with all of these roads kind of going towards each other and trying to go in and out. But you have to, with the column pieces, you have to change the height every turn of where it was. So if I put one column piece down and a stick on it, the next one had to be 2. And then when I go on to that one, the next one has to be 1 or 3. So it's always sort of going up and down.
Yeah.
And you end up... But if you knock anybody else's stuff over, you put it back up, but you have to give them some of your columns, which gives them more freedom for what they're going to do, and it limits your number of pieces. And if you run out of pieces before you got rid of all your cards, you're out of the game. So that was quite fun, and you needed a steady hand.
It's not a drinking game then.
Not a drinking game, no. And then at the end, we did a countdown, and then just like all hit the table and see how much of the city fell over. So,
Was that part of the game? Or was
no, that was
you
just
doing
us getting ready to put it away after it had
right,
finished.
yeah. That sounds quite fun, actually.
It was fun. It was a bit stressful, certainly if you have an unsteady hand.
So it's not something you necessarily do. You'd want to play that very often, but it's quite good as a bit of a.
Yeah, I think if you were like, we're going to play this for the next 3
tense.
hours, it's just stress.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to take trying to defuse a bomb. Just I was sweat through all my.
Oh, there are games like that, aren't there? Where like one player's blindfolded and they have to.
Yeah. There's some really good VR games that are like that. So yes, that's been the board games. Have you played any new board games, or has it all just been stuff that you've already played previously that you can think of?
Yeah, what games have I played?
What about Descent? Did you play? It was Descent. Was that this year the first time you played that?
The last time I played Descent was with you.
Yeah, but this year we started playing that campaign this year.
Was it? I
think
like
so.
it was so long ago.
Yeah.
We played it for months
maybe
and months
it wasn't.
what happened to that guy? What was his name?
I can't remember. Marcus, Luke.
Oh yeah, Luke. Yeah.
He was one of the Brush brothers.
Yeah. He just stopped coming down. He doesn't like it here anymore.
No.
Doesn't appreciate us for who we are.
No.
Yeah.
He started getting some action. And that's what happened.
Apparently he's moved to Whirl.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is a lot closer than where he was.
He comes down less often.
He still doesn't come down. So, I mean, I don't know what to say apart from, whatever
who
I did
you
to
are.
offend you. Yeah. Well, they're not going to listen to this anyway because they've left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do need to play...
Didn't even say sorry.
No.
Whatever I've done to offend you, I'll leave that there.
Yeah. Yeah, you deserved it. Yeah, you deserved it. No, I really want to play Descent. I really do. I don't know. We've talked about it. I don't know. I just don't know when we can fit it in very easily. Yeah, but it would be good to do.
We need a fourth.
We need a fourth. We've got 3. Yeah, we need one more. But it needs to be on a night when we're not going to get distracted.
So probably on a Wednesday night, and ideally someone who hasn't already played it.
Yes, definitely.
Because
someone who hasn't already played it.
We kind of want to discover it together. I mean, we've played, like 5 missions maybe.
The worst thing about a game
intro
like that
mission.
is someone going, "Oh yeah, you just need to do this."
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Oh yeah, we should do this mission. That's a really good one. Mm-hmm. But it's like that.
I want this character, and I know all
Yeah.
the best gear for them.
Because there's quite a few scenarios in it. We hadn't even finished unlocking all the
3 or 4?
characters. Yeah. So, yeah. I think we
We
did
got the
4.
cat.
Yeah.
That was
We got as far as
we
the
got.
cat, and that was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Descent, and also I suggested about us playing Pandemic Legacy.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Pandemic.
cool. I really want to play Hero Quest as well.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
It's quite a lot of games.
Is that 4 or 5 for Hero Quest? Do you need someone for the DM, or you just do it from?
I think you do have someone running it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got the core set and a load of the expansions, but they're still in shrink because obviously, I haven't played anything.
You don't paint them.
Man, I don't even paint my own models. I'm not going to paint board game models.
You painted 900 points of Ultramarines this year.
It was 1,000. Or
Oh,
980.
Shrinkflation.
I painted, like I said, I painted the starter set.
Yeah.
I painted stuff for other people. I've done a few commissions here and there. I've got a couple of commissions to finish. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, try and get them done over the next week to finish them for the year, but it might not happen. Yeah, so board games would be cool. There's a lot I want to do. I mean, next year, obviously, I really want to push for to get so we're relaunching the Crusade. I know we talked about that briefly already in the.
Not in the podcast.
Not in the podcast. It was edited out because I was so negative about. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't negative.
He went on a rant about GW.
So yeah, probably had a rant. Yeah.
So let's go through the podcast. Yep. No, it's on the podcast.
That's what we're doing. Sure.
Oh, where am I?
This is
The Crusade.
England in 1064.
Oh no, I'm
Nothing's
not
happening
wearing
in the next 2 years.
historically accurate clothing.
Yeah. You've got the wrong buttons. They did have microphones back then.
Yay! I saw Knight's Tale. They had tannoys
Yeah. Yeah.
and David Bowie.
Yeah. I do like that film.
Yeah. Okay, so Crusade. Relaunch Crusade.
Yes, so we've had a few months of everyone hating the GW Crusade rules because They're very good at making tools. Like this is similar to Necromunda, really. They're really good at making the tools that you can use. So they give you options and like, oh, here's some upgrades you can get and stuff like that. But then the way they implement them is normally a pile of crap. So the Leviathan Crusade set, which I can't remember what it's called, was pretty naff. They're doing a Prior Nexus one. That's probably going to be naff. It was like, all right, yeah, get some friends together and play the campaign over 4 weeks. I was like, what? Yeah, make sure everyone plays a game, and then that's it. And the winner is... It's like, whoa, winner? You don't get winners in narrative campaigns.
No.
So, yeah, it's atrocious. I've been working on this new campaign system that has like a fleet system that you build outside of it. I think it might be in... We might have already talked about that in the previous edit, but if we haven't, it's loosely you kind of start off with one ship in your fleet, and as you play more games you can expand your fleet, which unlocks unit options and stuff like that. So it's quite restrictive to start with, but as you play games you can choose whether you want to have more infantry or more of this or more of that, and it's that kind of stuff. There's a lot more to it than that, but well, not a lot more, but there's more to it than that, but that's essentially the basics of it. And there's going to be a combination of the ways that you can earn the points to upgrade your fleet will be from playing boarding patrol missions and from playing boarding actions, they're called, I think, not boarding patrol, and from playing regular 40k games, both of which will be narratively driven missions. So we've been playing, we've played a few boarding action games.
A couple of boarding action games, yeah.
Yeah, they've been
quite fun.
They are quite fun. You actually do need to take quite a diverse list, I think. So I played a couple with my Space Marines, and I had lots of just like battle line troops and stuff. And it's not as fun. It's not as flexible as having like, so I've done a new list that's got a captain, some heavy intercessors, hellblasters, blade guard veterans, and stern guard veterans. So you've got quite a mix of stuff, but it actually enables you to counter lots of different forces. Whereas if you took lots of the same basic core troops, so like Martin came down to play normal 40k, and we got him to play boarding actions instead, and he had his Necrons, but he ended up with like 20 warriors. And actually didn't really give him many options. No, because they're not combat-y or anything like that, and it's quite close. It's quite close. So you need to have a bit of melee, some high damage short range weapons and stuff like that are really good.
Yeah, he had a Scorpex. He was against my Votan, and I had warriors split into groups of 5. And unfortunately, his Necron warriors just don't have the killing power. And because there's only 5, you only had them in little groups of 5.
Yeah, they're actually quite easy to kill.
They're not benefiting from the reanimation if I managed to kill all 5 of them.
No.
And so it kind of just took him apart. And unfortunately, I don't think I tabled him, but the points were ridiculously not even close.
Well, what I've thought is with the boarding actions stuff is you maybe in your overall campaign roster you have 2 different lists. Yeah. So you have a boarding actions list, and then you'll have your regular list, and the regular list is restricted in different ways. So your boarding actions list, you can drop units in and out of, I guess, and stuff like that. But I don't know whether giving them advancements would just break the game a bit, because it's quite close range and stuff.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what the advancements are. Like things like sticky objectives and stuff wouldn't be so bad, but things that really kind of boost attacking power, especially because you have a lot of Overwatch in it and stuff like that, because it's free.
There's a lot of like being out of line of sight and then walking around a corner. So you're looking at short ranges, charges. People can charge you and you wouldn't have had a chance to shoot at them and stuff.
Yeah, I suppose you have to see. I mean, it could be worth brainstorming some advancements that you can only have in boarding patrol, like maybe the ability to open doors before you move.
Essentially, having 2 separate rosters.
Yeah. And so this squad has an advancement that only benefits them boarding patrol. You can bring them to a planet attack, but their advancement doesn't help them there. Whereas these aren't eligible advancements for boarding patrol. So bring those warriors that get this benefit, but they can't use that benefit in these games. So I think that would be fine. I'd really like to see, I don't know how feasible it is, but where we did the big Crusade game days, that is like a big Space Hulk. So no one's bringing vehicles. It's all just groups one side against the other fighting in Space Hulk. So you're bringing like boarding patrol type forces. I think that would be quite fun because
because we could use a lot of the Zone Mortalis stuff for that as well.
Yeah, precisely. It doesn't always have to be the same boarding patrol thing. There's plenty of walls and doors from the Necromunda terrain sets, and Space Hulks are amalgamations of lots of different ships. So
That's,
so you'd have different different styles in there because in a lot of the 40k games that we play, it it can be very heavy vehicle heavy, and so it makes
especially
people have to think
edition
back.
where vehicles are quite strong.
Yeah, exactly. With the higher toughnesses and stuff like that now. So pushing some games where they can't play that way.
I think that's a good point. I do want to run more big narrative games this year. I really enjoyed the ones we did. Next year. I really enjoyed the ones we did this year. I definitely like the idea of doing one Space Hulk. We can maybe do one that's like you said, the Space Hulk one, and then do another one which is more outdoorsy. So it's bring all your vehicles along for this one sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because the big game we did at the end of 9th edition, which was great. It was a massive table, but most of the armies that were attacking struggled to cover the distance. So I think they spent most of the game walking and trying to shoot at long range and stuff.
I think
like that.
we could sort of build it up when people have had a chance to build their fleet up a bit. Now they've got some dedicated transports.
Definitely. That's why if you do the boarding patrol, the Space Hulk big game first, they don't actually need massive forces for that.
No.
So that would work quite well if we did that. So because we're looking at starting like mid-January. If we then look at doing our first big game in March, people have got a bit of time to gain whatever advantages we think about, and you could maybe each have 2 boarding forces going in different places and different and try and make it so that the missions are quite specific. So take out a power generator, find a relic, all those kind of cool things.
So when do you think people would be able to access the rules?
That's a very good question. I need to get back on them and finish off what I've done. Like the fleet mechanics are mostly there.
Yeah.
I think I just need to sit down and go through it all again when I'm like this coming week is going to be pretty calm. I think I don't think I'm going to be particularly busy, so that's when I'll be planning out a lot of stuff like that.
And will you put them for people that they can be downloaded on Discord?
Yeah, so they'll be up in the files section of the Eternal Stars Crusade in the downloads bit of that. There's no reason that we couldn't do attach the files to some of your YouTube videos if you want to do videos on it.
Yeah, well, I was thinking
can't use these rules to do what they want to do in their gaming community if they're not able to get down here.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking, is how to make them accessible to a wider audience. Because I know that obviously we always talk about stuff that's happening here, but for anybody who listens that can't necessarily come down here,
and obviously be a free resource. But if you're playing in another part of the country and you want to thank us, you're more than welcome to buy something from the website. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to ship a lot of the products outside of the UK.
They could buy some merch.
But merch maybe. Yeah. I need to get that up on the website actually now that I've got a nice reliable supply of that.
They could buy the XL Army Painter pallets.
Yeah, just come in. They'll be going up on the website before this is released.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. That's a guarantee.
Hopefully, yeah. But also in the new year, we've got the so Blood Bowl unfortunately kind of died out at the end of the year. Sam, who was running it, has just started a new business venture with one of the other guys, Tom, and they are very busy doing that. So that's kind of died out, which is fine. I mean, it ran for like just over a year, I think, so did pretty well for as Blood Bowl leagues go. That's multiple seasons and stuff. Because it actually gave a lot of the players a bit of a break, which was nice, I think. But now people are wanting to play it again. So we are starting a Sevens League in January, which will be sort of middle to end of January that launches. It'll be run using the same software, the online resource that was being used for the previous leagues. Ash and I played a game of it last Friday. Yeah. That's really good fun, actually. Sevens is really good fun because it's Blood Bowl, but it's the board's a bit smaller. The setup's a bit different because you don't set up on the center line, you're set back from it, so the game plays a little bit differently. But obviously, I think we had a really good game, and it started off with Ash. One of his trolls did nothing, and the other one ate one of his goblins. So,
well, that's
for me, it was just
yummy.
Started on a high. Carried on being fun.
What do you expect if you're going to bring trolls?
Trolls and goblins.
Yeah.
He had an annoying goblin on a pogo stick, which I could not kill no matter what I tried to do to it.
Okay.
He had another one with a chainsaw who was just like chewing people apart.
Yeah.
And then he managed to bribe the rep, so he got it on for a second push. And
I'll give that a try. I've only played one game of Blood Bowl, which was against that guy who lives in Bolivia.
Oh,
there's that intro game.
Oh, yes, yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. No quarter was given in the introductory game.
He's a lovely guy, but he'll game you.
He's very gamey.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that when he picked Dalak for his Necromunda gang as well.
What sort of person does that?
Oh, it's like picking Van Sar.
And then he turned up dressed as one. Yeah, it was disgusting.
I thought he was going to a Matrix theme party.
He tried to bend backwards to dodge the bullets, and you heard this pop, and he was like, "Ooh,
yeah."
So Sevens is gonna kick off again. That's something I'm getting I'm gonna have a bit of a tinker with the software this week, and hopefully people will be able to start signing up for that.
Any chance of organising like a Sevens Blood Bowl boot camp for people to have a go at the game before the league starts?
Yeah, I might try and do that in January.
Yeah.
Try and do that in January. That gives people a week or two before it starts to get ready.
I'd like to give it a go before my first game.
The good thing about it is, so Ash and I played it on a Friday afternoon, and I wasn't interrupted too much. And I think it took us about 2 to 2.5 hours to play. But that was with me questioning, do the rules work like this? And he had to check about 500 times what happens when his trolls roll a 1, because they did it lots. It eats a goblin because he was trying to throw a goblin. That's why he ate it, because he rolled a 1 for his throw. He actually rolled a 1 and then another 1, and that's why he ate it.
So it's like mishap. What's the mishap?
He failed his throw, and then what happens, because he's still got the goblin, and he ate it. But he actually did it again later on in the game, but then didn't eat it. He just put him back down on the floor. Or I think he dropped him and he bounced or something. It was hilarious. Okay. I have to say, it was great fun. So Sevens is going to kick off. Sevens is a bit different from normal Blood Bowl post game as well. So obviously your team build is a bit different. You've got less money. You're more restricted on what players you can take and stuff like that. But also post game, you don't need to track star player points like you do in normal Blood Bowl. After each game, you can either pick one of your players to gain a random primary skill, which are normally like the generic ones, or you can randomly roll for one of your players to then randomly get a secondary skill, which are the potentially more tuned ones.
Okay.
So it depends on what your players are as to which skill trees are primary and secondary. But secondaries are normally, I think, more powerful potentially. They've got higher value to them and stuff. And then once that happens, well, there's actually a step before that any of your players that have gained skills, you roll to see if they get hired by someone else.
Oh, so you can lose them.
Yeah. So what happens is you do that, and then you pick a new player to get a skill.
Yeah.
Okay. So you always get to use them for a game before they potentially disappear. So essentially, they are being poached to go and play for other teams in the pro leagues or whatever.
Yeah.
And you get nothing for them. When they're gone, you lose them, and you don't get any money or anything. There's no they bought them off you. They're just gone. They're like, I'm off. See you, mate.
Yeah.
It's like playing five-a-side and then getting asked to go and play for the pro team.
This is just my hobby. This is my hobby game.
Seagulls want me.
Yeah.
I thought that mechanic was quite interesting. So what we will do is then any players that at the end of the Sevens League have gained skills and left, or are gained skills and are still with your team, you could then hire to play in the 11s League that will follow on.
Ooh.
But also if you're coming into the 11s and you haven't played in the 7s, you can still there'll be a mechanic so that you can buy some better players. There'll still be like a team price limit and stuff like that, team value limit in the league that follows. But the idea that these guys have gone on to play for the A team, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Also creates a nice little link.
Yeah, and it's the step from like sevens is like it's like the difference in 40k between Combat Patrol and normal 40k. It's like a simplified version. It's almost the same, but it's not quite. So yeah, so that'll happen, and then we're going to look at doing Dungeon Bowl and Gutter Bowl and stuff like that, following on from it, because they're all just a bit silly. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It all depends on how many people want to do it.
Yeah.
So if the sevens league's really popular and nobody really cares about playing full-size Blood Bowl, then we'll just keep running sevens.
How many people were in the Blood Bowl league this year?
So there were 4 seasons over the last year or so, and the numbers of players have varied. One of the seasons had nearly 30 players.
Wow.
So there was a couple of players that ran extra teams just to make the numbers in each group balance. But yeah, it was nearly 30. But there were a lot of people, and that was in the 3rd season. The one after that dropped right down to 12, I think. And I think the reason for that is people were just a bit blown out by it, because a lot of the people who've been playing have been playing for all the seasons leading up to that, and they just wanted a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Which is fair, But overall, with players that have played in the various leagues and not played in all of them, there's probably been sort of between 30 and 40.
Okay. Wow.
But I don't expect a lot of those to jump in on the sevens. I'd be I'm expecting maybe a dozen, something like that. I'm not expecting too many, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if there's an easy way of making a mechanic so people can join in part way. Probably not. But we'll see how many players we got, and we'll run it for. If we've only got 12 players, we'll probably have one group. You play everyone once, and that's it.
Okay.
And then we can look at doing one-day events and stuff like that as well, or weekend events, and just see how popular it is.
Yeah.
Like if we've got the player base, we'll do more. If it's a small player base, then we'll just keep it small. Same with all the other games, really.
So if you have enough people in the Sevens League, could you see yourself printing a league trophy?
Oh yeah. I can do a load of prints.
Yeah. Hey, we won the league. There's a little pigskin.
Yeah, Ben can have that. Yeah.
Oh, of course, Ben plays.
Yeah, he's really good at it as well. Yeah. I'm one of the people that he hates playing against. I think what might attract people to sevens is the fact that it's not a very sweaty rule set, because you don't get to pick anything. You don't. I mean, if you slam too many upgrades on one character, so the way that system works,
they'll leave.
They'll leave your team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way that system works is during that step, every player that's got gained skills since they've started playing for your team. So if they already start off with a skill, that's irrelevant. But every player you roll a dice for, and if you roll equal to or less than the number of extra skills they've got, they leave. So if you keep going, this guy's getting a new skill, and then you pick him again, and you pick him again, and you pick him again, they're very likely to leave, and you've got no one with skills on your team. So you actually want to give everybody one, and then start giving people 2, and then hope that they don't just
keep rolling ones.
Yeah.
I've lost 6 on my 7.
Oh yeah, can you imagine rolling like multiple ones after one game? Oh, my team did really well. Oh no, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Which I think that's what makes it fun, because it'd actually be quite cool for some sort of something like that in the 11s as well. We can maybe look at it in the 11s. Maybe have it as a 2d6 roll in the 11s.
They've been
the chances
drafted.
of you losing players are really low, but if you roll a double 1, that player's gone.
Yeah.
Because they can
just to stop you, having one. Oh, this guy can do everything.
Yeah. And most people don't play their teams like that anyway, but some teams play into that because
some do.
Yeah, like let's say you've got a team full of goblins.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to give the goblins any skills, or there'll be one goblin that you try and soup up or something.
Might get eaten.
Yeah, well, there's always that risk.
Yeah, hot goblin.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so that'll be kicking off. Anything else campaign wise going on? We're gonna, like you said, we're gonna look at Necromunda for later in the year, I think.
Yeah.
Don't want to do too much all in one go.
No.
Oh, we're talking about Ash and I were talking yesterday about doing an X-Wing campaign. I might let him do the research on that and then tell me how it works.
Are there other people you can play with?
Ash is very keen on X-Wing, so if he's willing to manage it, that's great. And he's keen to help out with the Blood Bowl as well. So, between me and the community, if people are willing to step up and do stuff like yourself as well, then I will support as I can.
Sam can make the coffees.
He's very good at making coffees.
Yeah, he's really good.
He puts in the wrong mug though. Someone's going to get knifed. I can see it.
You start having branded stab vests.
Yeah. Oh, there is a new branded item coming up soon. Holdall type bags.
Big,
For carrying
big bag.
armies. Very big bags. So some of the paladins will be showing them off over the next couple of weeks. Well, probably when we're open. Not during the Christmas period.
No. But that'd be awkward.
Yeah, they just stood outside. But they are
Buying coffee and donuts.
Huge bags. So if you're a player that brings big armies along, or if you're playing a game system where you need to bring your own terrain and stuff, these bags will be really useful for helping you carry stuff. Or if you go away to tournaments, you could carry your army, all your clothes, and everything all in the one bag.
Everything in one bag?
Well, it depends on what your army is. Well, I think even if you had a knight army, you could easily carry it all in it. It's huge. It's like over 100 litres, I think.
Could you fit a body in the bag?
A small one.
What about an adult body that's been dismembered?
Yeah, because you could put the hands and the feet in the end pockets.
Yeah, that's what you'd want.
Yeah, I don't know how...
feet and ankles.
How you'd have to maybe let it set, because I think it's probably not particularly waterproof from the inside. Like, it will leak.
Well, no, I mean, but like...
If you put a bin bag in there, it'd be right.
Perfect, exactly. I mean, I've never done it, but I would expect you'd put them in a bag, put them in a bag, and then put them in the bag.
Yeah, if you play against someone and they're just cheating,
you
cut them up and put them in your bag. Yeah. How are you going to get your army home after doing that, though?
I reckon if you just carried the bag out to your car and then come back and got your army, people wouldn't even notice. They just think you're another person carrying your army.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Nobody really pays attention to anything in this world, do they?
Well, I thought Dan was upstairs. Oh, no, he's not there. But I spilt some cranberry juice. Have you got anything I can wipe
Jim,
that up
have you got
with?
any blue roll? Yeah, here you go. You got anything that can get rid of thick substances that that will stain your floor? Yeah, here you go.
I'm used to
Jim's
that.
got all of that.
I've run out.
People keep asking for that. Why do people keep buying these bags?
It's perfect.
How's your boat? You can dumping the bags off. So it's just Dexter now, isn't it?
Out of Western Supermail.
Yeah, out the harbour. Yeah.
No, don't do that because we don't need to reduce patrons. Less customers.
True, actually.
Yeah.
You could do it at a tournament then, but if you've gone away somewhere
With strangers.
Yeah,
sure.
but not people who come to play here.
Yeah, not around here.
I think that's fair. Actually, we're supporting the community by not butchering them and putting them in a generously sized
We'll
bag.
meet in the bar. This podcast does not encourage murder.
No. Yeah. What are those sirens?
They just want the coffee and donuts.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's probably about it then, really, for the end of year podcast.
Yeah, was there anything you, apart from, obviously we were talking about upgrading the some of the kit, is there anything you want to do next year that's hobby-wise?
I would like... No, I mean, I want to focus more on just a couple of 40k factions rather than tons. So I think my plan is to go into 2024 crusading with Votan. Mm-hmm. So Votan and World Eaters, because they are two factions which are very different in how you play them. And also, at this time, they have limited model ranges.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So
that means you can get excited when they get a release, and then you can be disappointed when the next one gets released a week later.
Yeah, and the book comes out. Yeah, and it's this is rubbish. Because I think between those Imperialis, where I've gone with the Guard option, and then probably giving the sevens a go, trying to streamline in the playing side of things so that I can focus on the content side of things as well. Mm-hmm. I really want to get to making, because I only filmed a few Necromunda game videos this year, and I've only actually ended up releasing 2 of them. So there's others to do, but I want to have a better system for doing that, because I don't know, I feel like maybe it might be something that sort of becomes dependent on the studio, though, because it's the sound is the difficulty. It's playing the game and not being able to have to do the sound separately.
Room sorted. Yes, probably needs a bit of soundproofing in there as well.
Well, even just having the door and that would be
beneficial, isn't it?
Yeah, beneficial for some of the background noise, because some people, it's like a herd of elephants just when they're walking around.
Oh, I know. Kaboom,
kaboom. It's, what it reminds me of? The footsteps in Prior Nexus. It's like there's loads of space marines upstairs.
And every now and again there's a Necron.
Oh, it's a callback.
Oh, talking about Pro Nexus. Obviously, they were talking about the campaign that's coming up for it. I think they're going to do more
Cartoons.
Yeah. So that's something for everyone to look forward to next year. Us slating season 2.
Because Dan unfortunately wasn't here, we couldn't talk about Ultramarines. No. We don't want to spoil that. We will do that all together. Yeah, we did watch it.
We watched it. I think it's aged very well. Because we'll go into it at the time.
Yeah. It was a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
So we will talk about that and other media going forward. Our plan was to talk about various bits and pieces, but there was enough content for today to not need Dan, and obviously not having Dan here as well.
This short episode, I think we've been recording for about an hour and a half.
1 hour 25.
Yeah.
So I'll trim this down to 1 hour 23.
Excellent. Yeah. There's that bit where you farted.
Yeah. I have to cut that out. So goodbye to our loyal audience.
May the joys of the season be with you.
Yes,
and the end of the year funness.
Look forward to you joining us in 2024, where we promise to not be less professional. That's all the commitment I'm willing to make.
Not be less professional.
Yeah, in what we do.
I promise to continue to occasionally rant.
Well, good, because I've got a button. There's been no rant in this one.
Oh, it was a slight rant about Games Workshop,
okay.
But it's probably not enough. What can I rant about now?
No, we haven't got time.
Oh, sorry.
Had another 20 minutes to the recording.
I have a rant about not having enough time.
Yeah. Oh, why isn't there more time? Yeah. There used to be. In medieval times, there was more time.
In general, I wish I did have more time.
Yeah.
There we go. That's my rant.
Step it up, Sam.
Yeah.
Come in more. So next year, I guess we will, after the Christmas break, we'll hammer out a date.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll probably still continue on the same schedule for the foreseeable future. Although we were toying with the idea of...
we did talk about doing more interviews as well, didn't we?
Yes.
So I'm sure we could rustle up someone to be interviewed.
Any we'll contact some of the Primarchs.
Yeah.
Get them in.
Well, they pop in quite regularly, actually.
Yeah. But they only ever want to buy their own range.
Yeah. They always moan, I wish there was more stuff for salamanders. Like, shut up, Vulcan.
Yeah.
You were in Pariah Nexus. What more do you want? Well, it wasn't actually me. It was just one of my offspring.
He's supposed to be the good guy. He's just a bit of a dick.
He's miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, he's died quite a lot, though, hasn't he?
I made all this stuff and I had to give it away because it was too powerful.
Yeah. Oh, where's all my special units? It's like, no one even reads the book. Nick Kime, no one likes him.
No, he
Go
ruined
save
it.
A child or something.
Made you nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am going to stop the recording now. So, goodbye everybody.
Mm-hmm. And Shawn, thank you for all you do for the channel.
Oh, thanks.
I really appreciate it.
For warm and special.
I know.
Thanks for the coffee.
That's all right. That helped you feel warm.
Yeah, and special.
Yeah.
We've got no Dan here to sing.
Okay. No, we don't.
Something Christmas themed.
I try not to know any Christmas songs.
No Christmas songs.
Why didn't you add your last year's Christmas special to the end?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll put that on the outro. Okay, Palanites are coming to town.
Yes.
You better watch out, give a warning cry. You should run away, I'm telling you why. The Palanites are coming to town. Enforcers are coming to town. Subjugators are